Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I'm pretty sure you're aware that today is Eve's 18th birthday, and for this celebration we're going to be giving away 25 of the Syndicate skins, so stay tuned for that. In this video we're also going to be looking at the profits that have been made by myself from the current industrial change. It's treated me very well, and hopefully you guys have been making a decent amount of profit too. So I did say back in one of my earlier videos that this would be a great opportunity to make a lot of ISK, and that's because obviously the sweeping changes that pretty much changed everything. There were brand new items going to be made, and not just a handful of them, there were a lot of changes and a lot of new blueprints, and this basically gave us a great opportunity to basically zero in on something and, as I said, specialise in potentially one area and make a decent amount of ISK. Now, there are a few areas where I hopefully will make a decent amount of ISK in the long run, but short term, the one where I've been focusing most on has been the reinforced carbon fibre, and you can see the sales here. Now, this amounts to about 14 billion ISK that I've made in the last week from selling this, and that's because basically there just wasn't enough on the market to satisfy the demand, and that is, or had kept prices pretty much around the 75k mark per unit, and that has basically resulted in about, well, from the characters that have been using, I've been making 3 billion ISK a day selling this stuff. Now we can see we've stabilised somewhere around 300,000 units a day. Now I expect that to increase 20 times from where that is at least. However, for the time being, obviously with all the ships that have been made and the stockpiles that people have, at the moment we are tanking down quite considerably in price, to the point where it's getting to the point where it's becoming questionable whether it's still worth making it at this point. Now, until demand picks up, this is probably going to now be oversaturated for a good while, and you can see there I've got some sell orders still that I haven't amended for a day or two, hoping that the price would come back, and it's a good possibility the price might come back as less people decide to jump into the market now. But I think this ship has well and truly sailed for the profits that I was making to start off with, which is a bit of a shame, but again, these were never going to last, and this has a knock-on effect now throughout the entire market. And that is because the reinforced carbon fibre goes into an awful lot of items. It goes into the temperature cores, the life support, and a whole raft of other things. So basically everything that was made from the reinforced nanofibers, or carbon fibers even, was being produced and sold at a more expensive cost because of the sheer price of buying the reinforced carbon fibers here. So the life support systems, here we are down to 900k now, and these have been fluctuating around about the million ISK mark, so expect these to start dropping off. I sold some a couple of days ago at 1.16 million ISK per unit, but as I say, now that the materials required, let's have a quick check. So it only costs 10, but when they're costing 75,000 ISK, we're looking at 750k just for the reinforced carbon fibers. Where now, let's have a look, see what we can build one for roughly. So if we were buying it directly, we can build it for 347,000 ISK. So yeah, expect the price of these now to steadily start dropping. So that price now should slowly start to seep throughout the market, but don't forget, obviously we have a huge stockpile of ships left to burn through before we actually find the proper value of all these items on the market. So for today's giveaway, we've got 5 Caracal scopes, 5 Mauler scopes, 5 Rupture scopes, 5 Vexor scopes, and the newly released Procura skin here, which in my opinion is one of the better looking skins. I don't fly the Procura unfortunately, but again, I know a lot of you obviously will, so I'll be giving away 5 of these as well. So a total of 25 skins to individual people. So 25 chances there to win. All I want from you is in the comments, happy birthday CCP, and your in-game username please. So in a couple of the last videos I did say that I expected the Drekavac to average out at around 400 million ISK. This could have been slightly high, and we're probably looking at about 350 now. we can see here the build cost for the Drekivac currently is 641 million ISK. However, that is again with highly inflated prices. But the reason I bring this up is because it's a great example of how currently prices for minerals are tanking. And so say we are now down under 6 quite thoroughly for titanium. Pyrite has dropped. Mexilon is dropping a lot more than I initially anticipated. That is down from what, nigh on 200 ISK per unit down to 113, so good drop there. Isogen is going up, which again I think you can only get that now from low sec, so that could explain why that hasn't dropped as much as some of the others. Again, Nox hasn't moved a huge amount, which is, again, low sec, so not surprising. Crystalline Isogen has tanked massively and is still going down. I think it's probably stabilised roughly around this price now. Megasite, again, not a huge difference in the amount of usage for that at the moment, although Zydrin has dropped more than I initially anticipated, so quite interesting. 0 point condensate again has pretty much stabilized and is going back up now, and as we were talking about earlier, the life support and the auto integrities have dropped massively from where they were selling. So again, I expect now the Drekivac to settle around the 350 million ISK mark. So again, if you were building them before the industry update, then you were building them for about 160 to 170 million ISK, so some very nice profits still to be had there if you've got any left. At the moment, the current sell price is 266 million ISK, which again I think is quite undervalued at the moment, but as we can see here, the sheer amount now that are on for sale is quite staggering. So again, I expect the vast majority of these, or pretty much all of them, were built before the patch. So they were built for the 170 million ISK mark. So again, it's going to take a good while, although the vast majority of these are single orders. So it might not take a huge amount of time to burn through what we have currently on the market, but there are people with stockpiles. I've got 33 of them, as I said. I know people that have got 60, 70, 80. I know one person with 120, so on. So I know, you know, they're just the people I know that have basically told me what they have. So I'm sure there are many people sitting on huge stockpiles right now. So as I was recording that last sentence, I thought, maybe we can actually have a little try to work it out to see how many extra were built, which will give us a rough idea. So we can see roughly before the patch, we were looking at 125,000, and after said patch, let's have a look here. So 320,000, so 700,000 extra units, give or take, divided by how many units it takes to build a Drekivac. So potentially, at the very most, that's 1,102 per day. However, this also goes into building the Damvacs, Kikimuras, Vedmacs, and Lesheks. So we'll take the Leshek, because obviously that will be the most, and we will divide it by 2. And obviously then you've got the other ships, so we've got the Damvac, we've got the Kikimura, we've got the Vedmac, and I don't necessarily know if any of them go into the Tech 2, but I imagine that market is relatively small. So we'll minus off another 100 to be on the safe side. So again, this is very rough, as you can see, but we can assume that there could have been about 451 extra built per day. We've got, what was it, 2 weeks? Say 3 weeks to be on the safe side. It was a month. Yeah, we've got just over a month. We've got 5 weeks, so times 5, so we've got 2,255, and we are selling ish. Let's have a look. 142 a day. 142, so 142. So 15 days burying him. Yeah, so it could take around 16 days to burn off the the Drakivax that were actually produced before the patch. So that'll be quite interesting to see. So I think we'll wind up the video there. As I said, this patch has been quite kind to me. I've made a considerable amount of ISK so far, and I've still got what I expect to be a decent, considerable amount to be made yet. I think by the time this all finishes and plays out, I should be up by about 40 billion ISK. So again, huge amounts of ISK to be made here, and again, I imagine I am dwarfed by many people that went all in. I struggled initially to figure out what I was going to do and which angle I was going to go at. And so, as I said in one of the previous videos, that I was sitting a bit more on the sidelines until I'd really committed. And yeah, I could have committed more, possibly should have done, but again, it's very easy in hindsight to say that. But as I said, I've made a decent amount of ISK from the week that it's been out, so I won't grumble or complain. So, happy birthday, CCP Eve. Well done, 18 years. Quite an achievement, and I look forward to the next 18. Oh my word. Right, with that, fly safe folks, and see you soon.